Shalom, 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 Yasha Allah. This your boy, Brother Shamuel Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called Prophesy, thou son of man. Prophesy, thou son of man. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who have ruled well to the Spirit, and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. All right. Like I said, today's lesson is going to be called Prophesy, thou son of man. All right. And this is just a little snippet from camp earlier today. All right. And then we're going to show what happened later, right after camp. All right. So I just want to play this. All right. Let's get into it.
It says, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. So ultimately, man, it says, we'll seek out the Rock 39 and 1. It says, but he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, it says, and is occupied in meditation thereof. It says, we'll seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and occupied in prophecies, he will keep.
Will be occupied in prophecies. Okay.
The sayings of the renowned men. It says, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. So ultimately, man, you know, the true men of Yahawashi, we're meditating on certain things. We go into the law, you know, read about certain things, okay, about our customs. And ultimately, if we can keep them here, we keep them, man. Okay, but mostly we're in the prophecies, man. All right, we're in the prophecies, which is the spirit of Yahawashi, man. Okay, because he's on his way back here, and we have to make sure these things are known, man. You know, we have to make sure the prophecies are brought forth. Yeah. You know, that's our job, man. You know, because guess what? The world don't know what's going on, man. Because everybody's watching TV and social media.
Right. Everybody doesn't know what's going on. All right. So the brother said, you know, we should be occupying in the prophecies. All right.
All this false information, man.
Babylon is sending B-2 bombers, man. Babylon is sending B-2 bombers to Guam.
Yeah.
Right? What does that mean, man? Because they about to use this stuff, man.
All right. And I was saying, you know, because I saw an article earlier. All right. That's why you have to be a watchman to watch these things that's going on. Right. And, you know, before I go into camp, I saw that, you know, Babylon or the U.S. has sent B-2 bombers. It was supposed to be headed to Guam. Right. But we ultimately know what happened. All right. Let me rewind that real quick.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why we have to prophesy B-2 bombers, man.
You know, because guess what? The world don't know what's going on, man. Because everybody's watching TV and social media and all this false information, man.
Babylon is sending B-2 bombers, man. Babylon is sending B-2 bombers to Guam.
Yeah.
Right? What does that mean, man? Because they about to use this stuff, man. Stuff is happening.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why we have to prophesy and let you know before it happens, man.
Iran about to get this shit cracking, man.
Oh, yeah.
Now they about to invite America on into the race, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what does it say? The little one shall draw her out.
Yeah.
Jeremiah,
the least of the flock
should draw her out. They drawing her out, man.
Yeah.
You
Israel,
know?
It's drawing out Babylon, man.
I got a preach up.
It's like locally, if America gets involved, Russia,
China,
they both get involved.
Yeah.
And they may close down that little strait they have over there in the Middle East,
right?
Where all the oil comes out. They may shut that down. That would cause mass inflation.
Right.
Oil prices.
Suddenly, shut the storehouses be found empty, man.
Right.
It's gone. Listen. That's what I'm saying. Jake over here wanna see what's on BET Awards or whatever.
Yeah.
They not understanding, man. That this stuff happening, man.
Yeah. Shit is going down.
Yeah.
Why you eating the goddamn ice cream sandwich?
Right.
Right. Jake just playing around. right? Where prophecy is literally happening before their face, okay?
Bomb being shot off, man.
Oh, it's mustering up the battle.
Yeah, they are sending tanks to Washington D.C. They was doing this, I think. The lady, she actually said this month they were sending tanks, army tanks to Washington D.C.
They did a little bit of it because they were doing that parade. They were sending the tanks last week. They were sending it for that parade. But ultimately, they know. Remember, we've been seeing this for a while. We saw that a couple years ago. They got stuff in place already because they already remember the agenda is already.
Yeah, it's already set. And they set it up. Yeah.
The only thing is the Lord is showing us ahead of time what's going on, so we can report it.
Right, and you gotta
right. He's showing us ahead of time so that we can report it. Okay. And then I want to get what the brother Asher has said just a little bit earlier in the video. Salakia, see if I can get it.
That's what we doing.
And Elder Apostle Gabar was saying, a lot of reasons why.
And certain brothers can do this. A lot of times, the Lord are angels, man. Hey, the angels working. Yeah, man. And listen, the angels. Listen, the angels. Life is set up sometime. And
his work. Right. Because in the spirit, you're not doing it. You in the spirit world. Right. But you're not here on the earth, man. Giving Yahawah the glory.
Right. Woo, come on, man. And this is a beautiful example of praising the Lord's holy name. This is what we're out here confessing the name of Yahawashi. When you read about that in the scriptures, you be like, damn, we be doing that. You feel special. You be like, yo, the Lord really took me from doing this to really coming out here and really standing in front of all these people. They be looking at us like we crazy, bro. And we don't give a fuck, man.
Right.
That's the spirit of Yahawashi.
Because when Ezra said it, he said he commend those that stood firm for the name. When you commend, he was giving praise or congratulating, like pushing you, man. Keep doing it, man. Keep doing your thing, man.
It's like your buzz being out here and doing this work. We're advancing prophecy.
Let me rewind that, what he just said. That's the point that I wanted, right?
Stood firm for the name. When you commend, he was giving praise or congratulating, like pushing you, man. Keep doing it, man. Keep doing your thing, man.
It's like your buzz being out here and doing this work. We're advancing prophecy.
The brother said we advancing prophecy, right? So we're out here and we literally were speaking about how the B-2 bombers, right, were, we talked about, occupying the prophecy. We talked about that the B-2 bombers were headed, right? They were headed to Guam, all right? And they were going to use them. And then, let me get this real quick, Salakia.
I'm Robin Kennedy. We start with breaking news. Just before 8 tonight, we learned the U.S. military successfully hit 3 nuclear sites in Iran. This marks the first.
Right. So once we finished camp, we went to just fellowship for a little bit. And one of the brothers got a breaking news on his phone that said that the U.S. had bombed Iran. Right, those B-2 bombers that we talked about. What did they do? All right, let's keep reading. Fair use.
Time the U.S. has attacked Iran. President Trump addressed the nation at 10 this evening, calling it a military operation not seen in many decades, and sending a warning to Iran.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off
fair use
off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate.
Right. Hold on, Salakia.
Trump said Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will hold a press conference tomorrow morning at 8. Before Trump's public address, he left this message tonight on social media, stating the U.S. planes that successfully made the attack are now out of Iranian airspace and on their way home. Before Trump's announcement, Iran warned that U.S. military involvement would be, quote, very, very dangerous for everyone. South Carolina.
Right. So, like I say, as soon as we finished, we we got the message, that, like I said, the U.S. or Babylon had bombed, right, Iran, okay? And, this is why, understanding, that, how important prophecy is and what to prophesy, right? So this is the definition of prophesy, right? It says to say that a specified thing will happen in the future, okay? And remember, these scriptures were written long ago, okay? And what are they doing? They're playing out right in front of our eyes at this time, okay? Let's go to let's go here, right? I'm just going to grab a couple of scriptures. I don't want to make this too long, right? But you see what's going on, okay? Right? And the brothers, right, from GMS, from the elder apostles on down, right? And the affiliates, right? They've all been, continuing to prophesy, right? Well, people are debating each other and people are, talking about law, right? Hey, the brothers, they're prophesying about what's going on. All right. And you see, the one brother, the brother Jeremiah was talking about this scripture right here. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45. It says, therefore, hear ye the counsel of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi that he have taken against Babylon, and his purpose that he have purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Okay. And that least of the flock, when you look up that least, it means the youngest, right? Smallest, right? Because when you think about how the size of Israel, right? It's like the size of New Jersey, they say, right? And they're the least of the flock. They're the smallest and they're the youngest, right? 1948. Okay. And they have drawn out who? They've drawn Babylon into this conflict. Okay. Where now you see the king of Babylon has basically started war with Iran or Persia, according to the scriptures. Okay. And this is all part of prophecy. Okay. So when we continue to prophesy the downfall of this place. All right. But you have, the thing is, you have to continue to be a watchman to watch and to warn the people. Okay. Let's get Ezekiel 3 and verse number 10. Right. It says, moreover, he said unto me, son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thy heart and with thine ears, and go get thee to them of the captivity. Who was in the captivity? The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, or the Israelites, right? So Ezekiel was going to his people, right? To the highways and just like we're doing, to the highways and hedges and warning the people, all right? Being that watchman. The watchman is on a tower. And what does a watchman do? He watches for danger and things to come, and he warns the people, okay? And that's what we were set up to do through the power and spirit of Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Qadash. Right, it says, and go and get thee to them of the captivity unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, thus saith Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, the Most High Power, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. Okay, let's jump down to verse number 17. Okay, it says, son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth. Right, and what's the word? Is these scriptures. All right, from Genesis, right, to 2 Maccabees to Revelation. Okay, the whole book. You got to eat the whole roll, right? Like Ezekiel had to do, I believe in Ezekiel 2, right, and towards the end of the chapter, right, to the beginning of this chapter. Okay. So, son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. When I say to the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Yet, if thou warn the wicked, and he turned not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. That's how important it is. Okay? So as we see these things, we must warn the people. Okay? And the Lord has given us, this beautiful instrument, the unicorn, that we can go and we can reach across the world, across the earth, man. Right? And continue and warn the people of things that are coming. Okay? And it's a beautiful thing, that Yahawashi has given that spirit of prophecy. Okay, we know that spirit of prophecy is what? It's Yahawashi. Let's get that. Right? And you got a lot of camps, they're not prophesying. Why? Because they don't have that spirit of Yahawashi. Why? Because they're calling on Jesus, Christ, Most High. They're doing all that. They're not calling on the true names of Yahawashi. Right? Revelation chapter 19, verse 10, and it says, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahawashi. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy. Okay? And what is to prophecy? To predict. All right? To speak before. And guess what? The Bible is a accumulations of prophecies, right? And we're seeing these things getting played out right now, right? The least of the flock has drawn the great Babylon, right? Mystery Babylon, right? The great whore out into this conflict, okay? And we see it taking place, all right? And it's just a matter of time, all right? We know that the MOTB, has to be implemented, right? And once that's implemented, all this stuff is going to go fast. Okay, all this stuff is going to go fast. Why? For the elect's sake, right? The Lord said, I've shortened the days for the elect's sake. This is all prophecy, okay? And we're watching this stuff getting played out right in front of us, okay? And this is why it's important to continue to prophesy, against this great place, Babylon, right? Like the brother said, we're moving prophecy along. We go out and we teach these scriptures, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 28 and verse 7. It says, nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in the ears and in the ears of all the people. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. Okay. And that's what we see going on, man. Okay. This is, listen, the times that we're living in. All right. Where prophecy is unfolding, and we have to be occupied in these prophecies. All right. You have to be a watchman to warn the people of the danger that's coming. All right. And we literally just did that. And right. And so all the men, right, starting with the elder apostles on down of GMS, right, what do? They go out and they prophesy, and they continue to stay in the prophecy. All right. Continue to talk about the faith in Yahawashi to endure. Okay. We even went into law and this, right? But what do we talk about? Right? We got to get into these prophecies. All right. We got to talk about faith. We got to talk about Yahawashi. All right. Who is what? Who is the spirit of prophecy? Okay. Who is the spirit of prophecy? And I don't know if I got that. Salakia. Let me read that again, because I don't. Now I'm thinking. I don't know if I read it. So Salakia. I did, Salakia. I did. I'm going to read it again. Revelation chapter 19, verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren. All right. This was an angel. All right. Who said that he was a fellow brethren. All right. John the Revelator. It says, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahawashi, worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy, right? And we see that a lot of these camps in Israel, they don't even have the spirit of prophecy, because they don't have Yahawashi, because they're not calling those true names, all right? They're not sincere, okay? And they're not staying occupied, okay, in these dark parables and these dark sayings, all right? And ultimately, and we see, we was literally just brought it out. right? The B-2 bombers was hey, they're about to do something, right? And sure enough, what happened? Okay, what happened? Hey, they dropped them bombs, okay? And now guess what? You know, Babylon is in this thing, okay? And the scriptures talk about it, okay? So, you know, these are the times that we're living in, right? While everybody is just occupied, dancing and partying and doing whatever, right? Hey, we focusing on these scriptures, man. We focusing on these prophecies, all right? And continuing to bring these things out, all right? Through the spirit and power of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right. So I just wanted to do this quick lesson. Like I say, Lord's will, this is edifying, right? You know, you brothers, right, out there, right, who know this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, who know this truth. Hey, you need to be doing these lessons, man. Okay? You need to be reading the words of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi and prophesying. Okay? Hey, we know the MOTB is right around the corner, man. Revelation 13, 16, and 17 is right around the corner at this point. All right, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. Okay, and continue to prophesy. That's why it tells you, the scriptures say, covet to prophesy. Okay, you should have that zeal, all right, to prophesy. And don't neglect, you know, prophecy. All right, so I just wanted to do this quick lesson. Like I say, Lord's will, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Halal, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad. A mighty shalom to the 144,000 men. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who have ruled well through the spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Another mighty shalom to the rest of the elect out there. Stay diligent, stay focused, keep watching, keep praying, okay? And understand, man, we have to have that wisdom and knowledge and understanding, right, which is given from above. All right, to endure the fear of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Matter of fact, just a quick point, you know, right after we finished, you know, we did our camp, then we went in fellowship, and we actually, when we saw the article or we saw the news, we just did a live real quick, okay, to bring out more breaking news, okay? And then after we saw that, we looked up and we saw chariots of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. All right, call Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. Right? A ball, shalom.